Now this is just a continuation of the prior video with market analysis, and I've been working with this folder right here, but you can work with any of these folders. Why do I work with this folder? Because I know that this information is the most current, and it does take a little while to sometimes update the other indexes. So that's the only reason I do it. And then I go down here to the spiders. If I want to not work with the large indexes, just go down to the spider indexes, which contain the S&P 500 stocks broken down into sectors. So if I go to number 7, there's a folder here called, these are the actual ETFs. The next folder down, equal dollar weighted index. These are the indexes of these groups down here with the individual stocks in them. So I just created these indexes so I can analyze them. Now let's go ahead. I'm going to transfer them and just go to the top right here, the percentage price change, and you can see that the energy selects sector based upon equal dollar weighting was up the most, and then consumer discretionary, healthcare, and so on. The weakest was communication services and technology, which has been selling off a little bit recently. But with these indexes, they can be analyzed just like I analyzed the S&P 500. So first of all, I'm going to click here on the ranking module and bring up the ranking module, and this is a percent change 1 week, and this tells me this is 1 day here. This tells me, based upon my 1 week, percent change 1 week, that the healthcare sector was the strongest sector. So I'm going to bring it up and look at this. You can see the percent of the stocks that are over the 20-day moving average are almost 70% of them, and above the 30, 46, and so on. But these have all been moving up. Now, this is good insight to have if you're interested in sector investing. So let's just take it a step further. I'm going to change to the index group, and I'm going to go to a different chart here. I'm going to go up to my most used charts, my basic chart, and I'm just going to click on a few of these at the top. Scientific is at the top of the list. You can see that it gapped up. I don't know what the news was on it, but you can see this has been a really strong trend with the 200, the 100, the 50, the 18, and then the 3 and the 6. Now it gapped open, traded down, but buyers came in late in the day to prop this up. Obviously, the ideal place to buy this is on a pullback, not on an extension. So I'm going to bring the arrows up, turn the timer off. This was a pullback. This was a pullback. This didn't quite go negative. This obviously is a pullback here, and this is a pullback here. There was one here too before the gap up. So those are the obvious places you want to look for it, especially when a stock is trending up like this with a strong fan. Now, very risky to even consider chasing this stock. But you need to check the news and see what's going on. Okay, let's drop down to the next one. By the way, these are, when you're using a charting module, you can see Medtronic, GE Healthcare, and so on. The way they're sorted here based upon the percentage price change, they're also sorted that way in the chart. So Medtronic is number 2. Now, here's a major pullback, and the fan is in a downtrend, but some news came in to ignite this stock on Wednesday. Once again, you want to check the news. What indicators do we have here? Well, we've got a VPA signal. We have an effort to rise over here. There's a strength coming in. Confirmation of that strength on this effort to rise here, and then it pulled back again. But notice that it held the support area. These are pocket pivots, positive. Here's a negative one, and then here's a positive one yesterday on heavy volume. So maybe we're getting some rotation into this group. Now the 3 crossed the 6, the others have not crossed yet, but they're kind of heading up. Volume point of control and the force index both are positive. The industry's been stronger than the stock, but you can see that this stock outperformed the industry yesterday, and it looks like earnings were recent. So the stock got a big boost yesterday for some reason, and like I said, I'm doing this on the 9th. This is data from the 8th of January. Just see what happened with this stock after you watch this video. You can see back here in this area there were plenty of VPA flags here. Here's an effort to rise, and then it pulled back, and then effort to rise here, another one here, and then it took off. Maybe you'll see the same pattern on this now. It's kind of a loosey-goosey stock in here, except for this nice run. So let's drop down to the next stock, GE Healthcare. I think I mentioned this in an earlier video. This one, I'll move in with my A1 key. This has been on the move, and I don't know if I need to cover it again or not, but I think I'll do it very quickly. Amgen popped up there for a second. Anyway, I'm back to this one. Notice the volume pocket pivots. Why is this blue here? Because this volume here is higher than any of the previous 5 days down volume. And this volume is higher than any of the previous 5 days, and so is this one. And so is this one, higher than any of the previous 5 days down volume. That's how this works. And then, of course, yesterday. But look at this. Strength seen returning, confirmation of that strength, effort to rise. Obviously, there was something going on here. Now, once again, here's the group. This one wasn't doing anything, but in the past several days, it's been outperforming this industry group. You're probably saying, well, how do I find these stocks when they're starting to move? Well, the VPA flags are there. The effort to rise was the place to buy this stock, at least right here on the next day. I'm going to close this, and VPA scans would have worked on this. The 3-6 crossover would have worked right here on this effort to rise. And then if I drop down here and look at my Wyckoff demand charts, you can see that on this effort to rise, there is a light green bar. Now the light green bar means lack of supply, and the volume was slightly lower than the day before, but lack of supply in conjunction with these VPA flags. And these three right here, these are all effort to rise with the dark green bars. So you can scan on Wyckoff scans, or you can scan on VPA, or you can scan on 3 crossing the 6. And with the ability to, let me go back to the originals, the ability to see which groups are starting to move, this is when you can start looking for these. Just out of curiosity, let's go look at the XLV. Go up here to the actual, and let's take a look at the XLV chart itself. So when you start seeing activity with the spiders themselves, and what do we have here for signals? Okay, we'll start at the bottom. Force index 10-day, I don't have a scan set up for that, but the VPOC scan works. This is the earliest indication, and then here is the pocket pivot. There are pocket pivot scans. The 3 crossing the 6 right here and you can see it right here on this day, is a good indication that this group is starting to move, or this sector is starting to move. And then what do we have here? We have a test, a low volume test, because volume is lower than the prior day, but this closes in the upper part of its range. Now while I'm in this chart, I'm going to do one more thing here. I'm going to go to the sector. I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong spot here. Here's what I want, the equal dollar weighted. So let's locate the healthcare sector, equal dollar weighted, and see what it gave us. So here with this one, you can see that there's a confirmation of strength. It's actually strength seen returning during a downtrend, and you can see it's been a downtrend, but back here it's the same thing. Earlier warnings here, strength seen returning, confirmation of that strength, then a pullback, a fake out, and then strength seen returning again. And this time there were volume pocket pivots, and the VPOC crossed over several days ago. What I hope I'm getting through on these videos is that you can start from the top down with ETFs, indexes, whatever, and get signals from them, and then you can go in and look at individual securities. Now, just as a preview of what you can do, I'm going to go into these actual stocks here in the sector, transfer them to the warehouse view, and point out that in my files, under my name, Ron's Daily Scans, you can scan for a lot of stuff right here. Here's the VPOC crossover today. So if you look at this column right here, these are the stocks within the healthcare sector that have a 10-period VPOC crossover today. So if I bring this up, you can see that an iSurge crossover today, looking down here in the lower right corner. And that you can see that all of these stocks cross over. VPOC 1010 is actually one of the earliest warning signals that a change is coming. They may not follow through, but at least you know that you can scan for that. Now, 3-6 crossover. Look at this column right here. There's a 2-day window. 0 means it crossed over yesterday, and 1 means it crossed over 2 days ago. I gave it a 2-day originally when I created the filter, because stocks that are following through after a signal often happen within the first 2 days, and you can catch them there. And here's with the pocket pivots. If there's a pocket pivot and a crossover, Medtronic, Quest Diagnosis, here's your pocket pivots, here's the crossover. It happened yesterday, 2 days ago. I'm sorry, it's got a 1, so crossover was 2 days. And then my continuation indicators, fan up counter trend, there's nothing here, perfect speculator, stocks hitting a 52-week high, 52-week high, market leaders. These are the market leaders that are in this group. Let's make this longer. You can see this is a market leader, and iSurge also. And then that's it. These are just my quick review scans right here. But what I'm doing, and you know this by now, is I'm creating these categories. And I'm still working on these. I'm not quite sure of how this will end up, but these are some of the things I have in here right now. Here's a VPA. I'm going to I think I'll add the Wyckoff scans as a category too. They're already in my files, but I want to bring them out. But let's just look at, let me close this up, so tighten it up a little bit. So let's look at VPA Trader. This is a VPA catch-all, 500,000 volume minimum, but a VPA bullish signal today. So bullish intraday, end of day intraday. So I can immediately know that I'm dealing with a VPA flag here, and here are the conditions. You can see that there are 3 efforts to rise, several tests for supplies, no supply. It's just a quick way to get a read on these stocks. You can also bring the fan into play. These have the fan up and are also receiving a VPA generation, or a VPA signal. I'm sorry. Okay, but there are lots of ways to do this, and I'll be covering many ways as I go through this video series. Thank you for listening.